Hi everyone, MJ here. Taiwan is in the middle of the plum rain season, and it stinks. I want to say good evening, good morning. It is 24 minutes after midnight here. I haven't been on since the beginning of May, a couple weeks. Quite a while actually. It's a lot for me. I've been busy with studio stuff. I've also been busy on Hey Go. And up in the upper right hand corner, you can see the realtaiwan.tv. And if you point your browser to that, it'll redirect to my Hey Go tour page, where I've just added recently some stuff to it. But I want to say hi to everyone on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Band, and who knows where else. Anyway, nice to have you all with us. And I'm capturing comments from all the platforms except for Band, which is kind of an internal kind of... Hi everybody, MJ here. I got my wireless mic on. It's, as you can see, it's rainy like crazy out there. And it's been putting quite a cramp in my style because I want to do some more of these Hey Go tours. And I have prepared some photographs for you tonight for you to check that out. And a big tour bus coming by here. Wow. I'm going to go on the rear camera because I think it's a lot more interesting. And what I should do is I should pull my bike forward and get that saddlebag out of the way. All right. I'm using a clamp, you know, on a stock. And so there's going to be a little bit of shake there going on. But that's okay. Let me try something here. I'm pretty sure that I can do... yeah, that's going to put that in the background. And let me tag a few people. I'm going to tag everybody. Well, not. I'm going to tag a bunch of people and see if they can join. And see what happens. Yeah. Just going to tag these folks, and I'm not sure how to see. I guess you just back out and it tags them. I guess, right? Yeah, okay. So then I just post. Okay. And now I'm back. Yeah, that worked out really well. Prism is very intelligent. It allows you to use other apps, and it stays in the background but continues to broadcast, which is really interesting. I just basically went over to Facebook and did a post and tagged a bunch of people to let them know that I'm live. But, all right, let me tell you what's going on. I had Phoenix in the studio tonight. I'm working on a new tune, and she's doing some background vocals. I needed a girl's voice, you know, and she's 9 years old, and she did such a fantastic job. She sounds so cute. I can't wait for you to hear this tune. It's going to take me probably a couple more weeks to finish it. I got maybe another hour of editing to line the vocal tracks up a little bit better. I got to play some guitar parts on it. And let me see. I got to play a couple of rhythm guitar parts. I got to play a solo, and I got to sing it. That's all. No, not that much actually. It's almost done. I didn't realize that. Anyway, as you may have heard, we've been having some had a COVID-19 breakout, and you know I got people telling me, "Oh, masks don't work. It's vertical." You know the infection rate's not vertical, and. In my town, we're only getting like 1,000 a day. And in the whole country, it's been over 60,000 per day for the last couple of days, but it's actually going down. There have, you know, it's all about the R number, right? And if you have the same number of people, new cases every day, or less, it's really not spreading that terribly. All right, let me share a little clip I did with my new 360 camera. I'm riding my bike around, and I rode my bike past this place. This is the famous Jar Jar store. I rode my bike past this place, and I also rode it past Win-Win's, which is the place that I used to live stream, you know, for years. So welcome everybody on Facebook that just came in. That's Jar Jar right there. Kind of an unceremonious end. I want to show you a picture that came out a couple of days ago. This is one of my favorites. This is an animated GIF file, and it shows how the James Webb Telescope now is functioning, and it's brought all the mirrors into alignment. I just love this animated GIF. It's really something. All right. Now, the other day I went to this temple, and on Hago I did a tour of it. That's a giant Matsu statue in the background. It is very impressive. It's actually huge. There's a better shot here through the temple gate. I'm across the street, and I got my camera at ground level. This is the main feature, and this is, you know, of course, the patron goddess of the sea, very famous, revered in Taiwan, and they just had a tour where they took her all around these different temples. So that's where I was the other day, and I'm going to show you a couple of things here. But before I do that, I'm going to turn my camera off just for a second, because I just want to make this dark. Now, this is what the temple looks like when you get close up to it. Like many of these temples, you know, it's got a main hall and a couple of pavilions off the side, but this is called a dragon and phoenix. It's the Matsu Dragon and Phoenix Temple, and so it prominently features dragons and phoenixes everywhere, as you might guess. Inside it is really ornate. Dave in Osaka was here with me a number of years ago, actually, when he first came to Taiwan. Dave and I live streamed this temple together, and I got a picture of us, he and I, that is, together. And I think, if you give me a second, yeah, okay. Yeah, see, this temple, hey Mike, how you doing? Hey, good to see you. Let me hide this chat view here. Yeah, all right, good to see you, Mike. Let me turn this off. This is when Dave and I were outside the temple. This is back in 2019. And then inside the temple, we were both on Periscope at the time. Back when I was still doing Taiwan Live TV, that's my very first, that's my old logo. So let me continue, because this temple has a pretty ornate interior. It's really something. And there's a section in the back that I was never able to show anybody on Periscope and even on HeyGo because there's no signal back there. But these are porcelain, and these are almost life-sized, you know, like human-sized porcelain sculptures, and they're painted with gold leaf, and they're really phenomenal looking in person. I just got a new 360 camera. I went and got it the day after this temple because I'd taken some 360 pictures with my older camera and it just doesn't cut it anymore. I wish that I had it with me that day because I would go back now. Well, I wish I had it with me that day so I could have done it, but I'm thinking about going back and just walking through here. Because these things are pretty impressive, and in you know, with a 360, you can make a really interesting movie about it. And so anyway, this is me walking through this section. It's quite an impressive place. The figurines, the dolls, pretty amazing. I'm not sure if you can hear me while this video is running, but no, that's not a clothes dryer. Okay. Can you tell me if you could still hear my mic while the video was going? But I answered that no, that's not a clothes dryer. All right, another section. Okay, cool. I just didn't know if, you know, like the audio from the video, you know, drowns out the mic while it's going on. So, and there's one more shot from this group, and really is impressive. It's an impressive place. All right, now we're going to go back on with the camera. Hi you guys. All right, it's pretty dark. You know what though? I do carry around a see if I took it out or if I still have it. I guess I took it out because I wasn't using it. I had one of those tiny little plug-in lights, and yeah, it's not. Not my bag anymore. Okay, never mind. I don't have any, come on, I don't have any lights right at this second, but that's all right. Kind of adds to the ambiance. You guys are used to this place. I've been streaming here. It's kind of like my second place. I had probably my first real successful, you know, fairly large scale, that is, as far as viewers go, live stream on Broadcast right here from this spot. It's kind of when Broadcast started to get things going. But anyway, I've just been super busy. I got a lot of studio client work, more than I can handle right now. And the problem is I've been sick. I've been feeling really lousy, terrible, not enough sleep, eating the wrong kind of foods, because that's what happens when you feel like crap. You eat stuff that makes you feel better, and the stuff that makes you feel better is junk food. You know, so anyway, but I have been, you know, excuse me, taking care of my skin and shaving every day and make sure that I don't look like a bum and all this other stuff, you know, and I've been letting my hair grow a little bit. Not too wild, but it starts to get curly when it's long, and then that way, you know, my guy cuts my hair, has something to work with. He can, you know, do some kind of style, because I used to just wear it like, look like a Roman gladiator. All right, we'll go on the back camera because it's more interesting. It is interesting how much brighter it is. But you know, if we really wanted to, you know, if we really wanted to make it like, let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything added. Okay, well. That'll kind of give more of a, yeah. I'm trying to just, well, is that like, it works on the front. I should be able to like get a little bit of a, more of a, nah, not. On the rear camera though, I can set the exposure, see? Depending on where I tap, you know, on the screen, right? Hey, Patrick, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Welcome on Facebook. Yeah, they do, but you know, the funny thing, Mike, is I bought this camera. It's the Insta360. They call it the Insta360 ONE X2. So it's the 1X, but it's the version 2. And I was never, excellent, glad to hear that. You back home or are you still in the UK? I think you're back home, right? And Patrick is from France. The app, Mike, the app, I just showed a movie a second ago. The app allows you to edit things like I've never seen before. It's beyond incredible. And the thing about the 360 is it's waterproof. It has like unbreakable stabilization. This camera is off the charts because it doesn't, back home today's cool, because it sees everything. And so it's like with a GoPro or something, you have to make sure that you're pointing somewhere, like towards your, you know, wherever you want. But with this camera, you don't have to, and it's horizon locked. You know, you can direction lock it. It's got gyros in it. It's insane. You just move the camera anywhere that you want. And so what I'm going to do is play that video again. This looks like it could be a multi-camera, or it's a lot more involved in what it is. I mounted the selfie stick to the handlebar and let it stick out in front of the bike, and I rode around my neighborhood. But then later I edited it like this. And I was able to put this freeze frame in here. This is where I am. This is the Jar Jar store. This is where I am right now. And then next door is Win-Win's, the Vietnam sign. And Win-Win's used to be where that SYM sign is, the motorcycle sign, and now she's moved to the left where that pink cart is. But, you know, if I wanted to, I could look all the way around. You know, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can do whatever I want. I could just, you know, just use keyframes, which is a normal, you know, concept in video editing. Use keyframes as markers, as points in the film to, you know, to tell the software what you want to do at that point, including changing the, you know, the speed. I can change I can reframe. I can do anything. And the thing is, it works amazing in the app. And they've got a desktop version too, and they have plugins, you know, for popular stuff like Adobe or some of these other video editors that I refuse to use. But you know, 360's come a long way, and the thing has replaceable batteries. It'll hold up to 1 terabyte for crying out loud. And now they even have a power bank selfie stick, and you know, they advertise this. The selfie stick is invisible because when you screw it to the bottom of the camera, it's in the stitch line and you can't see it. So there are many videos of people walking around who can cleverly hold the selfie stick without their hand looking like it's holding a selfie stick, and you swear it's a drone, you know. And they have an extended one, and you can make, as long as they're not, you know, gigantically thick, you can make sticks. What I'm going to do is, I've been making that kind of stuff for a long time. When I used to go someplace and have to stand, I made a monopole out of PVC pipe. It worked perfect. I'm going to make a PVC extendable, like 3-section selfie stick for this camera, because it doesn't matter if the camera's pointed horizontally or vertically, because it's 360. It's just a ball, right? So what you do is you attach it to the stick and you hold it straight out in front of you. And if you got a really long stick, and then you just raise it straight up, but you keep the position through the software. Looking forward, it looks exactly like a drone taking off. It's phenomenal. And so you can get these fake drone shots and stuff. You can get, you know, like FPV flying through the forest. It's nuts. And so if you put the selfie stick on your shoulder and hold it behind your back, then you look like you're in a video game. And you can look around to the side using keyframes. You can, you know, spin it around, fly through, whatever. It's just phenomenal. And I got this thing on Wednesday, and I knew it was good. You know, I'd read some reviews and I'd seen it. But until I got it in my hands and saw it, and it's tiny, I kept keeping my bag. I got the selfie stick and the 360 in my bag right now. It's waterproof. The camera is natively waterproof to 10 meters. If you want to go down further than that, you just buy the case. It's insane. And it's about, you know, $500. You can't beat that. And so now I'm going to be using that for, like, when I do these Hey Go tours, I'm going to be shooting 360 stills, but I'm going to shoot some 360 movies also that really show, you know, the places that I have been at. And I wish I had a long time ago. But I'm looking forward to going to the Shao Wulai area where the big waterfall is, and taking that camera with me, because I'm going to go in the skywalk and I'm going to hang it over the side of the skywalk with a selfie stick, and it's going to look like a drone. Imagine hanging over the edge of a 90-meter waterfall. I mean, that's phenomenal, guys. I mean, it really is. So, anyway, Relicart wireless microphone. You can see the display here. Okay, it's actually a square little transmitter, and it's sticking straight up, and I'm just trying to avoid having too much of this rain. It's been pretty bad. So anyway, I know he won't mind my telling this, but there was a big star in the 80s named William Pitt. And he's from the U.S. He was actually he was a model in Paris in the 80s, and he got tapped by a producer to do a tune because of his remarkable good looks. He looks amazing. But it turns out he can sing, and you know me, you guys know me, you know what I do, you know what I sound like. When I tell you somebody can sing, I mean, my idea of a singer is Mario Lanza, you know. My idea of a singer is like Steve Perry or Lou Gramm, you know, Brad Delp, guys like that. And so William Pitt is in that class. He can do anything. So it turns out that not only did he look good, he sounded good too. And he had a big hit called City Lights in 1986, and it was primarily big in Europe. It did hit, you know, the American charts, but it's a big hit in Europe. And so he's an American citizen, but he renounced his citizenship and he lives in Switzerland now. And he is like enjoying his retirement. He's getting up there in age. And he's got a little home recorder and he's been recording tunes. And I've been keeping in touch with him. He's a very wonderful person. He really is, because some people in the entertainment business are a little unsavory, let's just say that. William Pitt I call him Brother William, okay, that's how it is. So, yeah, City Lights, you remember that, right? Okay, you remember that, so you got to get out and see the city lights, right? Well, he gave me the tracks to this new song called Butterfly. About 2 weeks ago, I sent him another email. Hey, how you doing? Hadn't heard from you for a little while. How's things? And he has this. There's one of those kind of like the SoundCloud of Switzerland, okay? And he pointed me to that website, and this website actually allows you to download the songs, which is kind of unusual. So, you know, if you're listening to your songs you're liking, you can download them and, you know, play them on your device anytime you want. And I wrote back and I said, this song is amazing, man. It's incredible. And he doesn't really want to release it and stuff. And I said, look, do you mind giving me the tracks? I'd love to take a crack at mixing it. And then I got an email back from him. Okay, he's put them in Google Drive, and I'm adding some VST violins to this thing. But I mean, 99% of it is him. He played all the instruments on it and stuff, and his voice sounds great. And I can't wait for you to hear it. And when I'm done with it, I'm absolutely positive that he won't have any problem with me sharing it with you guys, because it's already on this website available. But I'm using Patrick. You see Patrick GMU in the comments? I'm using Patrick's software that he designed for mixing automation with a console, and I'm going to be mixing it with that system. It's called Automate. I'm using the X32 Reaper version. So X32 Reaper Automate. And I've got a mix about halfway done, and I take a break because it's not like the old days, man. I would go in the studio, and I didn't care what it took, whatever kind of booze, whatever kind of food, whatever, you know, we had to get, and I would spend a minimum of 6 hours, but I spent 24 hours on a mix, you know, so. Yeah, the thing of it is though, is I don't think he's gonna actually really release it. But you better believe that I'm gonna make it available, you know, to you. And I think what I should do is, when it's done, I think I should just play it on a live stream. But, you know, it's amazing. I can hear it in my head. It's just, it's such a beautiful tune. And so I'm going to, yes, I will. I am going to play it. You know I will. And so I can't wait to finish it. But I'm taking my time on it because I've got other projects. I have some paying projects too. I'm doing a bunch of stuff for a gentleman named Paul Clark who lives in Washington State. But tonight I'm very happy because, hey Dean, fist bump to you. Good to see you. I got my daughter Phoenix into the studio tonight, and I put headphones on her and got her to sing I know it's not politically correct in this climate, the girl parts I needed for the song. I'm doing a song called I Don't Want You to Love Me. And I mean, just the title sounds like it's some really serious, and I don't want you to love me. So no. It's a fun tune. I don't want you to love me. And she says, yes, you do. And I say, no, I don't. And she's 9 years old. So I got other issues I got to worry about, people making it sound like I'm having an affair with a little girl. But she's my daughter, and I want her to be on my record. And she's singing those parts, and she sounds so amazingly cute. And she's really good. She's only done a couple studio sessions, but her timing is good, and her pitch is good. She has my ears, ladies and gentlemen. So all I got to do is train her. So yeah. Oh yeah, it does sound relaxing, doesn't it? And on the tin roof up here. So I've been working on that, and I actually don't have much to do left on it. I'm gonna finish that real quick. I gotta do some rhythm guitars. I gotta do a solo. I'm gonna play a slide on it, and I gotta do an actual lead vocal. I got a scratch vocal, and it sounds scratchy, believe me. But I'm gonna do a lead vocal on it, and I think it's done. And I'm using. This has got another Gotta Keep Dancing. If you guys are familiar with my work, what I did in 1985 was I took a rap drum beat and the rap drum sound and put that under like these heavy guitars and a very daring lead vocal to form kind of, people tell me that it was the first time that like a dance rock tune was ever done. And there's been some stuff that have come out after that that are a lot more famous, and I think those people get credit for it, but I did it in 1995. And so this is like that, because it's all like VST instruments. I'm using, believe it or not, I'm using Complete Control, and I'm using, I'm actually using on this tune for the drum sounds, I'm using 2 drum kits that are mixed, and one of them is a drum kit that is specifically designed for rap drums. How do you teach harmonies? Well, the thing is, you ask good questions, Mike. Harmonies and harmony structure is well known. It's mathematics. It's like bicycles, for example. Everything that there is to know about bicycle geometry and physics was known in the middle of the 19th century, and nothing's new. There are new inventions, there are new ideas, but it's based on the same physics. The equivalent to that in harmonies would be arrangements. So, there are intervals that are related, and you can sing, like in the studio, in the old days, we would never really talk about notes that much. We would know what key we were in, we could hear it. But I remember I did some sessions with Ellis Hall, and he would look at me and he would just go, you got thirds. I'm like, okay. So what that meant was no matter what we were singing in the chord, no matter what we were singing as the chord progression changed, I had to maintain the relationship of the third. And if it was a minor, then it would become a minor third. So I had to hear this in my head. I call this science intervalology, okay? The ology of intervals, just the musical intervals. And I learned it really, really well. There's a guy that knows it even better than me, Rick Beato. That guy's like it's like an android or something. He's unreal. He's really, really good. If you don't follow him or you don't know who he is, you need to check him out. And his music theory and his ear training guy's really impeccable. But that's what you're expected to do as a professional. When I got hired to do a session as a singer, they didn't tell me how to sing. They just told me the outcome that they wanted, and I did it, which is how it works. Now, so the problem is, Mike, is in the arranging. You have to write for vocals, like the same way that you have to write for orchestras. Let me expand on that. In the very late 70s and the early 80s, synthesizers came out that were very closely duplicating waveforms associated with sounds like violins and trumpets. And you'd have some pretty uncanny, and incredible sounding patches, as we called them, on these keyboards, string patches and brass patches. But what would happen is people would play these parts and it didn't sound like brass, or it didn't sound like violins, because there's a keyboard player playing a piano that just sounded like the piano was made of violins, or the piano was made of brass. And so I was fortunate enough that my publisher was also a symphonic composer and an orchestra, and he wrote orchestral music. And he actually did the orchestral arrangements on some of my tunes. If you go to my SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/Phoenix Media Forge, you'll hear a song called I Don't Want to Say Goodnight. That is an example of his orchestration. And he wrote it as if he was writing for a symphony orchestra. Now, we hired Robert Ellis, one of the best session players in Boston, and he used a Kurzweil 2000. And so when it called for an English horn, he went to the English horn patch, but he read the sheet music and played it as if the horn player was playing it, including the vibrato, which he used with a pitch wheel. When it came to the strings, and some of the string parts were like, just like 6 lines above the staff, I remember him going, "Is it really this high?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "It's almost the end of the keyboard." I said, "Trust me on it," and he played it. But again, the way he played the downbeats and stuff represented, the bowing action on the violins. So that made it sound like real instruments. And if you listen to that, by today's standards, it's not like the VST instruments, which are made on some of the modern samples. They were 16-bit back then, but it's pretty darn good. It really is. I Don't Want to Say Goodnight. And so the thing about vocal harmonies and arrangements is that you have to understand that those are background vocals. And that song, I Don't Want to Say Goodnight, if I may say so, I think is one of the better songs that I have ever done regarding background vocals. There are 15 tracks of background vocals because there's 5 parts. There's 5 left, 5 right, and 5 center. And so it's in the key of G. So the hook was I don't want to say goodnight, right? Okay. So the background vocals would go, the lead vocal would go, I don't want to say goodnight. But the background vocals were building and they would just go, ooh, baby, in harmony. But it was a supportive role. And that part, I don't know if you can teach. See, that's the thing. Just because you know the science doesn't mean you know the application. Remember how I said that everything that's known about bicycles, was known in the 19th century? But how many new innovations come out with bikes, really? Like my pal, Kirk Pacenti, who they call the father of the the modern mountain bike, came out with a stemless design he called P-Dent for the handlebar. And everybody in the industry, there's a million, face palms like this. He came up with it. But the innovation is far and few in between, even though the science is known. And what you're finding today is that there are very few people who actually are doing amazing things with vocals. Largely, I think, because it's just auto-tune. I listen to some of these YouTube videos where people are giving tutorials and stuff, and they solo the vocal tracks because they want to talk about compression and parallel compression and, you know, mustard from Mars and all this kind of stuff that just had nothing to do with really with, you know, can you sing? All right, would you just sing and sing in tune? But you listen to the amount of auto-tune on this stuff and it's garbage. And it's like, okay, so you got a crap performance and you put some software on it to try to polish it, it's still a turd. So why are you bothering with parallel compression and all this other stuff and trying to find some reverb that unmasks it and all this when what you're starting out with is somebody who can't sing? Get them out of the studio and get somebody in there who can sing. Because I don't know if you guys, I mean, have really been in many studio sessions, but when you're in the studio and there's somebody on the other side of that glass in front of a microphone that can sing, you don't have to do a whole lot to it. You know, you might put a little limiting or some compression on it just so it doesn't get out of control. But you know, a professional singer will work the mic, you know, when it's time to get up close to it to get that intimate sound, and then it's time to, you know, they work the mic. And you know, you put a professional singer in front of a new mic that he or she had never worked with before, just run it a couple of tracks and they got it, because the principles are the same. They just have to get used to the characteristics of that particular microphone. But so yeah, you know, I used to have students. I used to have vocal students, you know, years ago. I don't anymore, and I don't know that I have any time for it. Maybe I could do a live stream, you know, kind of, I don't know, class or something like that. I'm sure I could teach people to do that like I used to do, but I'd have to have some reference material, and the only reference material that I'm really familiar with is my own stuff. I don't have time to like generate lessons, you know, like I used to, and I don't have access to I had everything in notebooks and paper notebooks back in those days, and they're all gone, of course. But yeah, just listen. What I might be better at is this. I got a bunch of stuff. I've been really prolifically writing, and the problem is when I come up with a new idea, I want to get it down right away so I get the structure right, and then I go on to another song. So I got like, I think I have 12 songs that are in various stages of completion, and some of them are nearly complete. So some of them are only going to take like a couple of days worth of work to get them going. But what I would be in a position to do when those songs are out and they're commercially released, and you can go to YouTube, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Spotify, Deezer, whatever, and you can actually hear these songs, then I could do a video on how did I do this, kind of thing like that. Instead of doing like Rick Beato does, you know, what makes this song great about other people's stuff, and I don't think I would do like what makes this song great about my own stuff. I would make a this is how I did it kind of video, and maybe that would be interesting. I don't know. Depends on how well it goes over. I mean, if you got a song on Spotify that's only got 30 plays, I don't think anybody will care. So yeah, it's, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing. But what those guys usually do is they hire somebody to handle that. See, here's the thing. I know I could, but after dealing with Tom, you know, publisher, and I realized that that was his focus. I would never want to do that again. And so, what you just talked about, Mike, I'll tell you what. If you find some of look for Glenn Campbell doing like Wichita Lineman live, and some of the other stuff that he did live with Jimmy Webb. Of course, Jimmy Webb is one of the greatest writers of the century, of the 20th and the 21st century. But not only that, he's an unbelievable arranger, and he writes orchestral sections, right? So if you listen like the Wichita Lineman with that, you're still on the line. It's got that's brilliant stuff. But Glenn Campbell didn't do that. Jimmy Webb did that. And so on these shows, I saw on YouTube, they're on YouTube, Glenn Campbell live, Jimmy Webb is got the baton, and he's the one that's managing the orchestra. He wrote the orchestrations, and he's the man. Of course, I don't want to take anything away from Glenn. Glenn was outstanding. Glenn was amongst rock and roll players that don't know, he's vastly underrated. Among rock guitar players that know Glenn Campbell, they know how much ass he kicked on guitar. He just was not a show-offy kind of guy. There's a video of him doing Wichita Lineman where he does a solo in a guitar solo with kind of a semi-clean sound, and it's hard to do legato with that semi-clean sound because you don't have the sustain to carry the hammer-ons through and stuff, But he's going it's like. And some of these country players are just monster, like Roy Clark. I mean, there's nobody like him. It's like the Jimi Hendrix of country music is unbelievable. So yeah, when you're talking about that, I mean, did you see the band Heart? Did you see the sessions where they use the symphonic orchestra? There's Ann Wilson did Alone, and What About Love with this orchestra behind him. There wasn't a dry eye in the whole place. And then they did a version of Stairway to Heaven, and Robert Plant and Jimmy Page were in the audience, and they're both in tears. It's unbelievable. So yeah. But if I was going to do that, if I was going to do that kind of a gig, and I've actually been talking with somebody here in Taiwan about opening up a super expensive, super high class entertainment value with big band and orchestral music. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna sing. I'm going to be a guest. I'm going to come out and sing some tunes. But if this goes down, I'm not going to be the orchestra manager, because there's people that do that so much better than I, and that's their focus, and that's where you want. But yeah, when you put that stuff together, though, the backup singers and the orchestra, the brass and stuff, it really makes a huge difference, doesn't it? It's really something. When I was a kid, my favorite band was Foghat. Well, actually, Foghat and Edgar Winter, and I've seen both of those acts three times. Now, I actually saw Foghat and Edgar Winter on the same bill one time. But here's the thing. The record that I used to really love by Foghat had Road Fever on it. And the front cover was a rock and looked like a piece of bread, and I realized, oh, it's roll. It's like a bun, like a roll. So it's supposed to be rock and roll. And I never appreciated it, but they had these amazing, like bluesy kind of rock tunes with horns on them. And I just didn't appreciate it then, but I do now. Yes. So you saw that, right? What did you think of that show? That was off the charts. I would love to do something like that. I would love to have that at my disposal. Because what I would do is, if somebody asked me, I would take some of those old great songs by Mario Lanza and some of those guys in that age. I would do a modern version of Be My Love. I mean, who writes lyrics like that? Of course, Mario didn't write it, but I mean, you know, be my love, for no one else can end this yearning, this need that you and you alone create. I mean, my word. So, hey, fist bump. Nice to see you, Matthew. He says, you know, just feel my heart the way you filled my dreams. The dreams that you inspire. Yeah, that's right. With every sweet desire. I mean, come on, man. That's like, who writes stuff like that, right? But that would actually make an interesting, like a Latin, you know. Be my love, for no one else can end this yearning. That'd be great, but I wouldn't want to do the arrangement. I would just have the idea and tell the arranger, "Hey, man, this is my idea," and come back in a couple days and let me hear what you got. So, and the way YouTube is, those little things that I just sang on my own. I'm not going to get any artist fee, for my 55 years of singing experience. But I'll probably get a copyright strike. They were one of the most successful touring bands ever. They played over 300 shows a year. One of the hardest working bands. Never met those guys, always wanted to. I remember when Lonesome Dave passed away, a couple of guys approached me. They said, you should audition for him. I always wanted to meet Rod Price. Of course, he's gone now too, but Rod Price was really good. I stood very, very close to them on one show. I told you the story when I was in high school and I shot Edgar Winter and Fogcat. They were on the same bill. I shot them, with my camera. That's the story where I told you that I used my father's microfiche reader to load a negative in instead of microfilm to project it onto the parabolic screen where I had affixed some photographic paper so I could blow up the controls on Edgar Winter's ARP 2600 synthesizer and see how he had them set. And it worked. I could see everything so clear because I had pushed it to like 800 or 1200 ASA or something. I shot black and white back in those days. But I made a big study of those guys when I was younger. And if you listen to Gotta Keep Dancing, it's like probably the best, the song that did the best for me as far as like airplay. There's a lot of Edgar Winter. I did do a couple screams in there that are very reminiscent of Edgar Winter. And the thing is, I could probably do those again. I just haven't tried it. I haven't tried it for so long. I'm not going to do it now, but I need to get back to it. What I need to do, you know what I need to do? I need to do some shows. Nothing whips you back into shape like doing some shows. And the thing is, I have an opportunity to do all the shows I want on the roof of my house in my neighborhood if I want to. But Foghat had their own jet, and they were actually from England, but they lived in Connecticut. And they had a studio, I forget what it's called, the Boogie Hotel or something like that, I forget. They had a studio, excuse me, that they owned in Connecticut. I'm sorry. I used to know all that stuff. I mean, you work in the field and you know about these places, and all these studios are commercially available. Even Brian May's studio is commercially available. He has 2 full-time, recording engineers, and the studio is busy. They, They manage the studio, keep it running. Imagine that though. Imagine packing your bags up for a week and doing a session there. I'll tell you who else is available too. You guys know who Roy Thomas Baker is. He's famous for producing all the Queen's early albums, and he produced the Cars. He's in Arizona. He's you know, moved from the UK. He's got a studio in Arizona. If you want to work with Roy Thomas Baker, call him up. Just look at his website. Go to the studio, pay money, and you can have one of the biggest producers in the world. He's also a recording engineer. Doesn't need anybody else. And he's, you know, cutting your tracks. And you could be out there, you know, all my exes live in Texas or whatever you want. This is, you know, not to pick on that song, but yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I've actually entertained, though, the idea of taking my tracks to one of those big studios and working with one of those big producers and mixers, just to see what they could do with it. I don't know. Hard to say. Yeah. How old is he now? How old is he? Still doing it. See, here's the thing. Good living. No drugs. Booze in moderation. Food in moderation. You know what I mean? Everything. Moderate. That's key to everything. Moderation. So the fact that he's still doing it, and like I was talking earlier, you know, about William Pitt, you know, it's all in moderation, and he is a very humble and modest person. Yeah, he's 75. Yeah, there you go. See. Yeah, so is Todd. And I talked to Grady last night, and he said that Todd is going to be in Boston like 3 times in the next 6 months or so. So I told Grady when he sees him to tell him I said hi, but he probably doesn't remember who I am. But anyway, we may. It's hard to tell right now, and it's already the month of May. But we may attempt to go visit the United States in the summer. My daughter's never been there. I just wanted her to meet her aunts and uncles, you know, and I wanted to meet Grady. And Grady has been refurbishing that amplifier that I have, right? So if I could, yeah, Todd Rundgren, yeah, if I could get, actually, I'd like to show that amp to Todd and see what he thinks about it. So, really? Wow. So, okay. So now this is interesting, Patrick, because this is a guy that has the resources to do, you know, it the right way. And what's he doing? He's putting an 80s vintage reserviced, you know, which is perfectly fine, SSL console. So he's going to have a console-based studio, which I don't get these DAW kitties. I mean, I know you and I see it exactly the same. When I tried to figure out where my place is, I had this conversation with Grady last night. As an old 80s analog guy, I had to figure out where the heck I fit in the 21st century. You know, with the AWs, and my idea of mixing with a mouse, it just doesn't cut it for me. And so, yeah. Wow. I want to go there, man. I want to see that. I'd love to stand in front of a mic and do some singing. That'd be fantastic. Holy cow. But he's going to make it available. I got to scroll back and see this. He's going to make it available for free to selected bands. Let me ask you this. What's the selection criteria? That'd be really something. I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm capturing comments from all platforms. If you want to, you know, make a comment on, you know, on whatever. So, hey Leo, how you doing? Yeah, good question. I've been in Taiwan for 18 years, Leo. I originally came here because I was working at a foundry in the United States. You know, it's the foundries where we do, not a chip foundry, but a metal casting foundry. I was a manufacturing engineer. I had left Cybex International, which is the exercise equipment company, to go work for a friend of mine who had bought this foundry. And I didn't have much knowledge of castings at that time, you know, and I really wanted to like explore that realm. I'd gotten out of the music business. I hadn't done many. I was, you know, producer in Boston. I haven't produced any records for a couple of years, and I just kind of wanted to do some more of that. So here's what happened. Okay. Oh, thanks. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at that in the comments later. So, okay. 1 second, Mike, because I'm going to answer Leo's question. See, back in those days, that's when policies, you know, in the United States and so forth were unfavorable for manufacturing, and a lot of people were going to China, right? And so I had Chinese language skills, and I talked with the boss about it, and we decided what we were going to try to do was have some factories. We don't want to go to China. We want to maintain a high level of quality. So we wanted to go to Taiwan and develop some relationships with factories so we could offer our own, you know, outsourced products so we could be competitive, right? And the whole idea, I know people get angry, and I definitely understand, you know, America first and all that. But I'm going to tell you something. I run a 15 factory manufacturing consortium in Taiwan so I can help my customers stay in business. I don't do finished products, I do components. So my biggest customer, I do 4 times a year I ship 9 metric tons of castings. And when he gets them, then he gives them to his people and they do the final assembly. If I didn't provide those parts for him at a competitive cost, he'd go out of business and all those people would lose their jobs, you know. It's just, there's no perfect solution, right? So Leo, I came over here originally to work on that foundry's outsourcing program, and eventually the company got sold. So I was basically kind of, well, I guess the only way to say it was I was abandoned here, but that's okay. By that time I met my wife, and my wife, you know, was an accountant. She's actually an auditor for Deloitte, and she knows the tax laws in and out, and I'm a manufacturing engineer, and I had a business plan. So we just did it. We just put it together, and one of my Taiwanese friends gave me the money to start my business, and I've been here 18 years. And so recently, I built a studio in my house, and I'm doing music again. I'm doing music production again at 66. It's amazing. So, speaker question. Okay, Mike in the front row. What's your speaker question? Maybe I can answer it. I don't know. We'll see. In the meantime, let me do this. It is a rainy night. We're experiencing the plum rains here in Taiwan. And do any tours on Hago because it's raining like crazy. This is the street corner where I'm at. So this is one of those where you say like, it was a dark and stormy night. Or one of my other favorites. There are many stories in the naked city, and this is just one of them. So, thanks, Leo. I'm going to tell you something. I love Taiwan, okay? And for those of you who are listening that can speak Chinese, I just want to tell you, okay? 内信，我觉得我是真的台湾人。很多人问我，你喜欢台湾吗？我说不喜欢啊。哦，为什么？因为我爱台湾。So basically what I said was, in my heart, I feel that I am a real Taiwanese. And people ask me, do you like Taiwan? And I say no. And they're like, huh? Why? I say, because I love Taiwan, right? And so if you say, 喜欢 like, or I, it's two different things. 喜欢 be I, 不一样. So there you go. I love it here. Yeah, I married a Taiwan woman, and she gave me an unbelievable daughter. I am 66 years old, and I have a 9-year-old daughter named. I mean, go figure that. But Taiwan is a place where I've said this millions of times. It's almost like there's it defies the really. That's really, really tiny. So how. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. So we're almost like Dishong, right? That's it. So all right, 好. Well, if you do, right, 打给我好不好? Okay. Send me a message on Facebook. I'm MJ Klein TW. So, yeah, and you know what, Leo? You can come here because I'm in Hukoxiang in Hsinchu-Shen. So you know where that is probably. So there you go. So that's wow. That's really amazing. What he's saying is in Chinese. He's basically saying that he also loves Taiwan, so that's fantastic. Okay, speakers, Cutlass, yeah. They do. They do. But of course, today we have many, alternative materials, such as mylar and so forth. But I'm going to tell you, I also have some mid-70s. I've got some ARs, acoustic research monitors, and I have them in my studio, and they sound unbelievable. Of course, the woofer is paper. That these ones use mylar dome tweeters, but yeah, they do. But the thing is too, Mike, is if you have oh, that sounds good, man. No, I'm buying you a beer because you're the traveler. And you know Taiwan culture, right? The Taiwan culture is we always treat the curling, right? So there you go, bro. All right, fist bump. Thanks, man. Yeah, send me a message on Facebook, okay, bro? I appreciate it. But Mike, you can get speakers reconed. And some of the kits, like you might have a famous brand of a speaker, but there might be kits available from different companies that rebuild kits. And so, you can do some research and find the one that you want. There's guys like Clive Goodwin and some other, really well-known speaker gurus that can work wonders. They can breathe life, into your old speakers. Though, do you still have those? Indestructible. I like that. Yeah, I would say though, okay, for example, in the Redmere, right? Grady is replacing the Redmere speakers, which are vintage and they're basically destroyed because they're 45 years old, with brand new Celestian Rubies. Okay, they're guitar speakers, and those cones are definitely made out of paper. But the thing is, nobody has made a paper tweeter since probably the 60s. So once you get up over the crossover, wherever that is, okay, and my main studio monitors are the Atom T8V. If you want to look those up, Mike, I think you'll find those very interesting, and they're not too expensive. And if you were interested in a kick-ass set of powered home speakers, the T8Vs, will astonish you. But they have a Mylar 8-inch woofer that goes down to 33 hertz. That's really respectable because I don't have to have a subwoofer in my studio. And then on top of that though, they have a ribbon tweeter they call a UART. And when I first was researching monitors, I was kind of leery of that ribbon tweeter because I had experience with ribbon tweeters in the 70s and they were really harsh and kind of just annoying. This design on the Atoms, that UART ribbon tweeter, it like gently sprinkles the high end. It's smooth, it's silky, it's not harsh, but the detail is astonishing. One of my clients sent me some new tracks and he wanted me to put, believe it or not, a triangle, just, you know, ding, as a percussive instrument on one of his tunes. And it's just so soft and gentle coming out of these monitors. That's the way it's supposed to be, and it gives you a really good representation, and I find that my mixes are translating very, very well into the real world, which is important. But I have another set of monitors. I have some 3-inch Tascam monitors that anything above 100 hertz is ruler flat, but they got no bottom end. When I did that mix of Boston's More Than a Feeling, I mixed it on those speakers. And I was just very, very careful about how much bottom end, you know, I had in the mix. I was very careful with that. But then I got the T8Vs not too long after that, and I was very pleasantly surprised when I listened to that mix and found that I nailed the bottom end, so that's good. But the Tascams I use, because they're very detailed in the upper mid-range and high end, but they don't quite go as high as the T8Vs. But I bandpass all my mixes anyway. I roll the bottom off brick wall. I brick wall at 30 and I brick wall at 16 kilohertz. Because anything outside of that range just causes intermodulation problems. Never mind. It just causes, you know, especially on transients, TIM, transient intermodulation distortion with stuff that's outside the range. It just doesn't, it's not good, so. Yeah, I know. And of course, bone conduction is a whole nother science. I don't want to get into that, but I'm very happy. Mike, check out the Atoms, okay? And let me see if I can write this. Let me see if I can, how would I do this? Yeah. Check that out, okay? Check that. So how's that? Came up a couple of times. The Atom T8V. Oh, I don't know. I really can't tell you about that. The consumer stuff for cars, I don't know. I just know that I bought an Android infotainment system, right? And it has like a 40 band equalizer. It's nuts. I mean, I spent 2 hours, man, working on the curve in my car because it's on a touch screen and you touch it, it jumps to 9 dB and like, it's like, but anyway, I just couldn't take my finger and draw the curve that I wanted based on, you know, what I heard, because what I'm doing is I'm playing my own mixes, right, in my car, so I know what they're supposed to sound like. So when I hear it in the car, I go, oh, that's all wrong. And so, but Mike, check out the the Atom T8B, I got them from Thomann, which is a company in Germany. Thomann, THOMANN.de. And I paid 208 euros per speaker. So for significantly less than 500. And these damn things are 90 watts, okay? They're two-way speakers. And if you want to have like, you put them in your TV room, or you put them in your family room, your entertainment room, they're going to be the best stereo speakers that you ever heard. They're reference monitors, but they also have switches on them for equalization, so you can get up to 2 dB plus or minus on both, you know, the lower band and the higher band, because it's a, you know, it's a two-way speaker. And so what I have done in my studio is I have adjusted the high end up 2 dB. So when I hear it, the speaker is emphasizing the high end by 2 dB, so I don't add so much high end, because I'm 66. And I realize that, you know, my hearing has fallen off a little. It's pretty good. My hearing, I mean, by every measure that I can use, you know, every tool, every meter, every analyzer, my hearing is still very, very good, but I recognize that it's changed a little bit, so. And that helps, you know, me not to make mistakes. But anyway, I'm getting ready to rebuild the whole studio. I'm going to rip out the back wall, and I'm building a new wall. I'm moving it, and we're going to resurface everything on the inside. My friend Li Shang is going to make, out of wood, he's going to make a skyline diffuser for the ceiling. He's going to angle the ceiling, and he's going to make a huge diffuser on the back wall. And I can't wait for this. We should be doing this. We should start this at the end of May. I can't wait for this, because I'm going to be able to like do live streaming and so forth, you know, from the newly remodeled studio, because right now it is an absolute mess. It's I mean, it's okay for doing production, but I don't want anybody to see the inside of it. Now listen to this. This is crazy. Can you still hear me? Like, this is so loud. Can you still hear me over this rain? This is unbelievably loud. This is why I haven't been doing, I didn't do any Hago tours since last Wednesday, and I don't have any planned next week, because it's going to be raining like this. And in Chinese, they say that too, raining cats and dogs. So tonight I'm drinking Rangers, this cheap Kentucky straight bourbon. It's like 290 NT, which is about $9. And I gotta tell you, it's really good. I think this tastes better than Jack Daniels. And, okay, excellent. Hey, Dean, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Hey, Kenrod, fist bump to you. Well, I got the mic pretty close to my, here. You see this little thing down here? I'm pointing to there's a display, and so that's where the mic is. So it's good to know that it works. Even though I'm not doing anything, this isn't what I would call an important live stream, you know, where people are giving me tips, you know, for that. So, but what I'm saying is, every chance I get, I use this wireless microphone system, so I get more experience with it. Anyway, but yeah, it's bourbon. Whiskey Lover Society. Fist bump to my man, Gert. You guys, if you don't follow Whiskey Lover Society, what's wrong with you? Gert, how you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. And I was thinking the other day, I am so relieved that you are completely over COVID and it's not a problem, because, you know, guys our age, right? Sometimes it can be an issue. But have you ever seen this? Rangers? Gert, if you find this, Gert, I'm telling you, man, once in a while, right? Yeah, long time no see, man. And I do watch a lot of your reviews, but I watch them on my TV. And I can't like give a thumbs up and stuff on my TV. But you know this to be true, Bert. Sometimes, right, you find a gemstone among the rubble. You know what I'm saying? This is like the cheapest ass stuff that you would ever want to. I mean, the problem is, right, at this price point, you would figure that you should use this as a hand sanitizer or for cleaning the tables, right? So, yeah, right? Something like that, because that's about all that's, you know. But I bought this one day because it was like $9. And personally, to me, I prefer this to Jack Daniels. I don't know what it is. There's something about Jack Daniels that annoys me. I don't know what it is. But anyway, this is very Jack Daniel-esque, but it's not so in your face. And I use I have some lemon soda and a little bit of soda water because I don't want to, have 100% of the sweet stuff. But I make basically like a highball, right? So. You can't find this, huh? Well, contact me. Maybe I'll just send you some, okay? Because it's only like $9. So the problem is it'll cost you more to ship it. So how much did it cost? It cost $9, but it was $79 in UPS charges. So yeah, but I gotta tell you, the other thing that I like about it is, and this is true too, and I don't know why this is, but like yesterday I drank 3 beers. They were tall boys, but I'm 191 centimeters and I'm about 120 kilograms in weight. And so 3 beers shouldn't do anything to me, but I woke up in the morning, yeah, the duties will be 40 pounds, I know. I woke up in the morning with a headache. I bought this bottle tonight, and this is where the level is, okay? So I drank about a third of it, because that's the neck, right? I drank about a third of it, and I'm gonna stop here. I guarantee you, I won't have any headache. I won't feel, dried out or anything. There's something about this particular, and I don't know why, this particular cheap bourbon, it's fantastic. And this is the only bourbon that I'll drink, because I'm not really I don't really like bourbon. I'm just not a bourbon drinker. If somebody else is buying, I'll drink it, but I won't buy it for myself. But yeah, excuse me. Too much mix. I of course would never do those mixers with a fine scotch. If I did those mixers with a fine scotch, I give you permission to shoot me. Matthew, fist bumps. Take care. Thank you for joining us. No, inflation is under control here. Taiwan government spending seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, I know it's I know it's insane there. I watch the news and I feel bad because I'm technically an American, but not really. So, like I told my friend Dennis, which is funny because he ended up saying the same thing. The only way that I would ever go back permanently to live in the United States is in handcuffs, if for some reason. Personal freedoms, in Asia are just, wow. Anyway, I don't want want to get into that. It's too political. I don't like politics. I don't want to get into politics at all. I did a live stream about 5 years ago at the main day market, and I have that tour planned, but because of the outbreak that we had recently, I canceled it because I didn't want to be around a couple of hundred people, you know, and then go inside to a confined space. But anyway, I had a pretty successful Periscope broadcast with a couple thousand people that were watching. And people were asking me about, you know, what's the freedom like, you know, because they think it's China here, and it's not. And so I said, well, let's find out. I took my gimbal. I went into like I guess it was a Family Mart or it's a convenience store, okay. And I got my gimbal and I'm showing it with with the camera. I opened up the cooler and I got a beer. And I went over to the counter and I paid for it. And and I'm shooting video the whole time. The girl who's checking me out, she doesn't care. I mean, the cashier, not she's checking me out. What I mean is she's, you know what I mean. So I paid my money, and before I left, I cracked the beer open, and I showed it on camera. I'm like, shh, popping the top, and people are going like, oh no, you can't do that. You're still inside the store. But I'm like, no, you can. It's not a problem. And I started drinking it on the way out, and I turned the camera on myself like I am now, and I'm saying, here you guys. And then I turn the camera back on the rear camera. And across the street, when I opened the door to leave the convenience store, there's a police officer right there, just across the street, directly across from me. So what I did was, I had the beer in my left hand, I had, holding the gimbal, and I waved, I said, hey, hello, to the cop, and I waved with my hand, my fingers holding the beer. I was like, hey, ni hao, ni hao. And he saw me and he gave me this huge smile and waved while I was drinking the beer coming out of the convenience store on the street. And that floored everybody in the live broadcast. They had never seen anything like that. They're like, whoa, how can you do that? I says, well, the laws here are different. They understand that if you are not drunk and disorderly, then you're not drunk and disorderly, and drinking a beer doesn't make you drunk and disorderly. When I first came to Taiwan, I had to kind of learn how these things worked, because I was in a taxi once and I had some beer. And I asked the taxi driver, do you mind if I drink a beer in the back seat? And he looked at me in the mirror and he said, what you do in the back seat's none of my business. There you go. And that's how it is. So, drunk driving has been a problem here in Taiwan, and recently a law was passed now, excuse me, that if you are a passenger in a car where the driver is drunk, you can be charged also, but the charge would be a fine because you didn't stop them. But here's the thing. You can still drink and drive as long as you're not drunk. I could go to the convenience store a couple of blocks from my house in my car, get some beer, get in my car, start the engine, crack the beer open, take a sip, crotch it, and if a cop pulls me over and he asks me, oh, I just bought it right over there, and they give me a breathalyzer test, and I'm not drunk, he's like, okay, go. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. I want to visit South Africa. I've got a number of friends that live there, and they send me pictures of their neighborhood, and it's pretty cool. I want to check it out. I have the movie Chappie. I don't know if that's a good reflection or not on South Africa, and I also have District 9, and I don't make any judgments. It is what it is, and it's okay with me. But yeah, I could, I could be on my way home, and we have traffic stops here, sobriety checkpoints are legal. They're not unconstitutional under Taiwan law, like they are in the United States, but they do it anyway. They would stop me, and as long as I passed the breathalyzer test, then I'm good. You're saying no? I mean, you mean the reference to the movies? Don't worry, I'm not passing judgment. I'm really easy to get along with. I mean, I'm really tolerant. I just don't like people to be mean or nasty. And I don't like people to insinuate things, you know. I got banned on Reddit by a woke feminist moderator who took what I said and twisted it the wrong way. I actually said, what did I get banned for? And she said, you said this, which means that. You said that, which means that. And I go, no. You realize you banned me for inferences, right? Not for things that I actually said. You said those things. And I never heard from him, so I deleted my account. Screw you, Reddit. So that's how it is. Yeah. This wokeness, man. Looks like the tide may be turning, though. So my new thing is whenever somebody does something bad to me, I just look at them and I go, well, I'm telling Elon Musk. I made a clip on YouTube. You guys remember that song by Three Dog Night, Eli's Comin'? There's a section in that tune where they go, Eli's coming, hide your heart, girl. Eli's coming, hide your heart, girl. Girl, Eli's coming. So, and then, right? So there's a section where they go, hide it, hide it, hide it, like this. So I made a clip out of that. And I call it Elon's coming. And he says Eli's coming, but the way it comes out, it almost sounds like it says Elon. So it's going like, Elon's coming, hide it, hide it, hide it. It's like, that's what's going on Twitter.